Hello, and welcome to a very special developer stream. My chat's not loading. Wait, let's try this one. Is chat loading? Okay, well, it's there. Let me see if I can get it on my screen. Let's just close it. I open Windows back. You. There we go. Load. Ah, yeah. We did it. Mikey and Luca are home today because there's wind in Seattle. So Mikey's school's closed. Well, he has some school, but his main school's closed. So hopefully they don't come in here, but you never know. See what happens. There's an imposter on ranked. He was almost Grandmaster last time I queued into him. Does he have a dev icon? That's how you know. I think. I don't know if Trevor played this season. I think I should be the highest dev. The only dev who would be higher is Vin or Luke Menace. But I'm only like low diamond. Oh, no dev icon? It's not me. How's Sunny? Sunny's good. She's angry, I think, that we had children. She used to get more walks. She's a little bitter. It's starting to get warmer out though, so she's getting some again. But maybe I should take her in the car when I have to do Mikey school at like 11 every day. I should take her in the car. It's not a walk, but it's better than nothing. Have I considered hosting a Crag Rock only workshop bracket? No, but we get enough original characters. I would like to do something with the Rivals 2 workshop. I think it's got to be out of beta before we run it at like a major. So our goal is getting workshop beta out or out of beta before the end of this year still. The big update for workshop is like we haven't done a patch yet because the first patch is going to break all the mods and people are going to have to update it. But then after that, we should be good. Like we should be able to update the game and update workshop without breaking all the mods. Now, obviously, like some things won't work. If there's like new features, right? Or new characters have mechanics, and the old ones don't have stuff for that. But ideally, one, it wouldn't crash, and two, right now, if we didn't do this change, it would be like any update would break every mod, even if nothing changed, even if just the foundation changed. So that is targeted. The workshop beta update is ideally this month, could be early April if our testing doesn't go well. because we're going to test with like closed workshop testers first and have them update their mods to the new system. If that goes well, that'll be soon. And then as soon as that goes out, we'll also fix some workshop beta crashes. The main thing will be like updating it to current patch. It still doesn't have Lorena, for example. And then fixing a bunch of stuff. Let's do this one because I'm not really looking at anything. Damn, please make a character that's a penguin. As a Philadelphia Flyers fan, no. You know who also wanted a penguin? SBS. I think he's also a Penguins fan. Which is just, how could he? You know, I could understand the Coyotes considering he's in Arizona. I guess now that would be a sore topic now that they're in Utah. So maybe it was good that he wasn't. But the Penguins, no. If I made a penguin, it would be the worst character in the game, for sure. On purpose. And if it ever got good, I would nerf it. I would nerf it so it was the worst character in the game. And then I would buff Wrastor and give him an orange skin. That's what I would do if we had a penguin. Will we never get a sheep because Absa exists? No, I could see us doing a sheep. Or a lamb. I mean, I love Kindred in League of Legends. I do feel like Kindred is inspired by Ori. Ori in the Blind Forest. I think at like an event, I ran into Thomas from Ori in the Blind Forest, and I mentioned that to him. I was like, yo, you see the new League of Legends character? He's like, no. And I'm like, Kindred? And then I think he didn't know about it, but then I brought it up again later, and then he had seen it. And he was like, maybe. I don't know. And I'm like, nah, man, they're totally inspired by you, man. But I was like, I mean, maybe not. Who knows? What about a Christopher Robin type human being? I mean, a human would be really funny. Before in Rivals 1, we explored some guests, and Trevor made some design documents. I made some design documents. We worked together on some design documents. I don't know if we've talked about all of them before. Some of them we started designs and we didn't even reach out to the creators. And some we did reach out. But one of them we started and we never reached out was we did like an Undertale design where you played as the human, right? And you could, so the idea was like all the characters are like monsters, quote unquote, and then it was like you could win by either being a pacifist or not. So I thought that was a funny way to do like a human if we were ever going to do one, where it's like they're dropped into this world and then everybody else is a monster. But Christopher Robin style, also kind of funny. We got, I mean, there's more lore stuff coming in terms of building out this universe. I think if it was like a actual human, it would be like, have to be like a guest in my mind. Yeah, either a guest or even, like a legendary skin. Yeah, Shovel Knight, we, I don't know. We tried to make it like a little funny. Is he Is this Fish Knight a different character? Is it Shovel Knight? Is it what? Is he just a fish when he's in Ether World? Who knows? Hard to say. In that taunt, we were being like, oh, we were just being a little cheeky. In terms of the rival Shovel Knight. Doesn't, you know, doesn't affect actual Shovel Knight's lore. I just finished my hour ranked grind. I hope yours goes as well as mine did. I hope yours went well. I mean, ranked grind is, it's tough. You gotta be, you gotta lock in. I should probably warm up a bit while I answer some questions. Let's do this one. There's lots of different ways people warm up. I would say, like, you should, if you kind of win, you should probably do at least some. My go-to is Edgeguard training. Edgeguard training, Locko's not bad. I usually go for someone that you can't edge hog as well by just grabbing ledge and the CPU dies. Someone where you gotta actually kill them, right, to get the KO. Because if you do like Lorena or Locko or other characters where you can just grab ledge, sure, it helps you time grabbing ledge, but is that what you want to practice? Oh, I should have counted. So the big thing, it's funny because I know recently there's been, oh, I had that, I dropped it. Clarion complaints on Nolt and Reddit, which is kind of fun because it is a sign that other, you know, players or other balancing is adjusting, right? When characters are like the #1 thing people are complaining about, that means like either people have learned general mechanics or general mechanics are in a decent spot. Because characters are constantly shifting, right? I remember it was really loud about Zetterburn and Rano at last year, like last spring, maybe even around this time, or I guess before Olympia released, maybe. There's lots of complaints about both those two characters. Both those two characters did get nerfs. I would say Zetter is still kind of loud, but I don't hear anyone complain about Rano anymore. So Clarence in people's minds, I think the big thing is like exactly what Edgeguard training is for. So Clarence all the way up to like the top of Diamond has kind of like an insane recovery. It goes so far, it's like ginormous, right? This ginormous hitbox. She's got two options, so she can go for the wall ledge or the stage, and she can choose very late. And then she's got pretty good mix-ups, right? She got a invincible dash that gets her to the wall, and just the distance, honestly, all the way up till Diamond is insane. So it's like, for all those reasons, she's much easier. She's a lot harder to edgeguard until you get to like a high level and you're actually using your ledge invincibility. On the flip side, it's one of the easiest characters to edgeguard with, right? Because you can stand on stage and just use your big moves. You can use down tilt. You can use Lord Strong. You can even use like neutral special in some matchups, pop them up, and then kill them with something else. So that's really annoying. But then as you get higher, it's funny because I think even as we've been, I would say like Clarence's been, you know, getting some nerfs. She has gotten like a handful of buffs to up special because at a high level it was so linear. Like look how much landing lag she just has on like up special. So if you force her on the stage, you really have time to do whatever you want, And if you get good at ledge invincibility, you can pretty much always force her on a stage. Although you can drift back, right? Like that's one thing. I think we've targeted it. I wouldn't mind even looking at it some more. Is like just how much she can control her drift after she up specials. It's yeah, even if you make her land on plat, like I'm not reacting very well right now, but like even if you make her land on plat, you have enough time to like hit her with an up air. If you make her land on stage, you can hit her with whatever you want. Grab. I know a lot of characters with fast down strongs just go for the kill right away. Maple, one good thing you can do is if you can sneak past her like this, you can go nair. That was a terrible back air. Ugh. Just sick nair. Look at that nair. Man, thought she was still gonna be in tumble. Ooh. But the big thing, honestly, is like you just gotta learn ledge play because in certain characters that seem unedgeguardable, the big thing is like being invincible. Just be invincible, right? Doesn't matter how big Claren's how special hitbox is if you're timing your invincibility, right? Like right there, like basically because I was invincible, just went through her up special. There, I fast fell too far, so then I wasn't anywhere near her to punish, but you get the idea. Probably not the best way to challenge that move. Even there, I got hit, but I'm at 0, so the hit stun's so low. That is why we have it knocked down at 0, though. If you floor hug it, because otherwise, there's a lot of recoveries where, you know, just holding down here would just beat them otherwise. 2 edge guards really solid so far. Oop. Maple 2. Definitely need to like F-tilt more right at ledge when you're like react to which one they go for. Because a lot of characters love to F special to ledge instead. And then kind of go right at ledge. Because they're like, oh, you're not going to challenge me. And then, especially if they're marked, that's a kill. You have special on that ledge. Because every character, including Maple, we tried to make it so like there is time, right? If they go for Clarence got it too. So basically, if you go for the F special right to ledge, there's a little bit of time before it will grab. That's when you got it in with the hitbox. And that's why Claren herself is pretty good at edge guarding. Oh, I'm bad. She could have doubled sliced anyway. Because she down tilts in those situations. Okay. Whatever. Good enough. All right. If you're talking about Slade's recovery. I'd love to learn more about the lore of the E2 universe. If you intend to add more characters from the future timeline. I mean, we have a decent amount of characters from the future timeline thanks to the workshop 4, right? We got Malo and Pong. Claren. We also have Tales of Ether, where you can read a story about the future timeline. you haven't grabbed that already, it's on Amazon. You can get it as a download on the it's just like through their Kindle thing, basically, digital comic. And then Slate Recovery. I think Slate Recovery is good, but not insane. It's with using items, it's probably going to be in the stronger half. If you don't use items, it's probably in the weaker half of the roster. All right, let's do should I just do Dallas and Chicago so we get let's do all of them. I'll put Dallas and Chicago though, so then East Coast people, if you want to play, you got to queue for Dallas and Chicago. Super confused about this. Absa is a genius mathematician and inventor. But how is her invention different from elemental magic? Absa? She had definitely written as a genius, but no, she's elemental controlling, right? The storm that she makes to protect Tempest Peak is like, you know, using lightning abilities. It's not like steampunky or like Jules Veil, right? It is I don't know, elemental based. All right, Wrastor. Always a fun matchup. Now, if I lose, it's on purpose, so that way we can match with some gold players as well, right? Right now, it's not possible for me to match with gold because we got like a limit on how far the queue will go. Sometimes against floaties, I like this stage only because it gives you like 2 kill options instead of 1. Because generally against floaties, you're only like killing off the top as Maple. But on this guy, it also introduces killing off the side because of how close the blast ones are. First kill? Yo, earned it. Let's go, Lily. You ain't getting through this. Don't mind that guy. Ooh. Ooh. The down air to Lily is always so depressing against the opponent. Getting yeah, that was because I was still at seeds going. That's supposed to be it. I was gonna show you why I like this stage sometimes. It's an early horizontal kill, but I'm bad. All right, let's go. Oh, I'm stupid. They're stupider. Man. I always know the grab's coming, but sometimes it's hard to react in time. Yeah, that was literally stopping the down. That was crazy. I was like ready to attack, and I was like, oh, why am I attacking? Yeah, that's crazy. I really did think the invincibility would last that whole time, but it didn't hit roll. Turn that around. That was kill. Yeah, see. Normally, I'd have to upstrong there. Although, really, I should have upstrong anyway. Not leave it up to chance.
I'm still here.
On this stage. Because I was very much next to... I was very much there in time to upstrong. But because we're on... Forest, you can downstrong and get kills. I don't feel so. I was ready. The air dodge is crazy. Air dodge to his whole jab combo. Ooh, DI'd out. Did not have to do that there. Ow. Ooh, the parry. Can you imagine? Ooh. Great mistakes. That was ready to attack. Hey, check this. It's called a Dacus. No one expects the Randy Dacus. Although pairing at that percent as Wrastor, oh, I was a little too early on the hard read. Kind of crazy. It's like if I mean, you get to start a combo because I'm at 0. But the downside is exactly what happened. If I do something slower, it just like kills you. So it seems like the risk reward is a little messed up. That is just mean. Oh. No. Don't double. There, see, I used use legend invincibility. Yeah, that in. Oh, that was bad. It is crazy about Wrastor though, is like 1 or 2 good combos. Trying to scare him. Make mistakes. Oh, that just killed. I already just hold up if you're the Wrastor player.
That's a wrap.
Oh, GG's. If you're in chat. I think that was you. I should not have tethered that down tilt though. That's one thing I've learned is like, if you can reach him on the first hit, always like go for the attack first. Only tether once you're in a spot where you're out of resources. But again, back to risk reward, I was like, well, if I do tether up there and they don't hold up in this situation, then the game will end. But really what you need to do is go there, get the up air, the regular up air, off the down tilt, and then tether nair to end the game. Dude, it's hard. Watching Dan be bad at edgeguarding clearing while describing how to edgeguard clearing is great. I mean, you can see good maples. I mean, it's actually not even a maple thing though. It's like if you see people who are good at the game, go watch high level play. And look how bad clearance recovery looks. Just look at Cake or anyone who's good. And look how often they get a opener off of Clarence having to get back on stage, right? Like if Clarence up being, then if Clarence forced up B, I would say like half the time high level players are getting a hit off of it in some fashion. The reason though that doesn't always happen is they're not always forced to up B, right? You can go recover high, you can just forward special, wall jump, double jump, back air. But if Clarence forced to up B, then you most likely see some damage getting dealt to her. Or an edge guard. Are there plans to release any of the Twitch drop purple pallets? Yes. Hoping to do a rerun of some of them this year. Soon TM. So there'll be Twitch drops again. What about the Etalus, Arena, and Absa ones? The Etalus, Arena, and Absa pallets? I don't know if Larena's had one. She had Twitch Rivals. I think. I don't know. Has she had a regular purple one? Maybe I missed it in January. But yeah, we'd probably try to get through. Bring them all back. Anyone who's had one, bring them back. Yeah, the Twitch Rivals ones are like more colorful. They're trying to match the Twitch Rivals color scheme. I think Zetter and Lorena have one. When we did Twitch Rivals twice. Run it again. Twitch Rivals beat there. I hope they like us. We like them. It's been fun. There's a few characters that are missed. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, we'll try to add them for characters who missed. There's I guess so. The downside is I won my first rank set, which I'm kind of surprised because I was planning on if I lost, I would be like 1290 something, and then I could play against. I could theoretically match with a gold player too, but right now you gotta be platinum or higher to find me. Are you guys still planning a QL button for casual? Yes. Although we're gonna have even better than a QL, but you'll see. But yes. Well, it'll be like quick queue, so we'll find you. Like quick match. We'll find you You'll try to prioritize all of the non 1v1 ones. Go through all those first. Is the plan. Oh, same person? We doing that? We doing a run back? I mean, now this time if I lose, it will be more points. That's kind of good, right? Which regions? I got Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, Fremont, LA on. Wait, they forfeited to me? Well, it's okay, I crashed. Oh, dev privilege right here. Is this how I get half my points that I hit my secret button over here? This one right here, just squeeze twice, 1, 2. Crash the server. It's hooked up. Beth hooked it up, so whatever server I want. Bam, bam. You guys think I got diamond through just raw ability? No. Just crash all the servers. That is unfortunate. I wonder why he crashed. I feel like we've gotten a good amount of character select ones fixed over time. I don't know. I do know the DX12, DX11, depending on, I don't know if it's crashes or what, but there is still some issues that people are running into. The funny one is like when the character doesn't load right away because of the way caching works now. So it's like, I don't know, the first like 3 seconds, there's like, you're fighting an invisible Claren, and then Claren shows up, pops in. I've also seen like invisible Claren the whole match. I think that's something else. I don't know if it doesn't pop in ever. I don't know if that's like a loading issue or what. But yeah, it's, man, just trying to update a game every 2 weeks that's in Unreal Engine. Just way more bugs. Although people forget Rivals 1, I literally put an update out where jumping crashed the game. Just jumping. And then it took me like an hour or two to push another fix. So for like 2 hours, it was like, sorry, you can't jump in this game. DX12 takes like 5 minutes to start up. Yes. You can clear out your files to make it the boot faster, but then you don't benefit from, it's basically like saving all of your shader caches. I will say right now, the boot is longer if you are someone who jumps between workshop and beta. So if you do have a long boot and you're someone who jumps between, then you can clear out your folder. I would check. I think the subreddit has an example of where that is. I know we responded to it. I don't think George and I ever made the post on the official Rivals account of where to clear it. Although I think George put it in the patch notes. I think he put in the patch notes. So you can check Steam for those. Of where you clear. So if you are someone who jumps between builds, you might want to clear your caches occasionally, just because it's going to kind of scan through all of them, even though it only needs the ones for this build. All right, here's an idea. What if we turn off Fremont for now, since that was our Wrastor. Yeah, so it fixes it for that session. If you aren't jumping between branches and it's still long the next time, that's kind of on purpose. It's supposed to be long because then when you play the game, all of your shaders and everything are already cached and loaded, and then you won't have any issues jumping between menus and even going into gameplay, right? So when you delete it, it's like recreating those files, so you might have some hitches. But then after that, you won't have any hitches. So it's like, would you rather sit for 5 minutes and get no hitches, period? or potentially get some hitches during gameplay. It's the balance. I think Corey, our tech artist, and is working with Tom, our engineer, backend engineer, who was doing some optimization, to kind of be more specific in which materials and which shaders they are re-caching. So I think we will reduce that time as patches go on. We're not gonna, ideally it won't be that long forever. Oh, let's go platinum. Lobo. Which one are we on? We're on Dallas. Ooh, we got an Etalus. I haven't seen Etalus in a hot minute on ranked. I know Etalus like this stage. I think even though I like Merchant Purpose Etalus, because Maple can make use of the space good and the platforms make it a little harder to forward special spam. I like having the option to kill off the top early, especially because Etalus is, if they like to recover high, Maple's one of the few characters that can punish them for that. They have a really good. Oh, I was not expecting that to hit. See dashboard. Instead, I stood in place and parried nothing. I'm stupid. That one's supposed to be a down special. Go up. Try to grab a little too early. I'll be honest, I'm not used to it. Etalus is hitting this many buttons when they're not dash attacking. Normally I can like run up, grab Etalus a lot more. Oh! Not supposed to be an air dodge. I got this, so I ain't scared. I got a kill? Nope. Close. Now. That back air is crazy. Alright, take this. We don't win this match. No. No, I'm not. We can do that though. Shoulda not put myself off stage. Probably gonna be coming off top lane. He's coming off top.
Hold the ledge.
That's crazy at that. The knock up on side BB, or knock up on down BB side B. That was probably just early. That's just a little mix up on where they want to DI. I might be dead. We living. What? I thought up air would already be out.
Get it.
That was crazy. Just do a down session.
That's a wrap.
Dan, am I allowed to ask a question of a feature being added to the game for the music? I mean, you can ask. You can ask whatever you want. I'll have to answer it. Yeah, I'm not gonna ask you a question. Sick. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Like, definitely not here. Where does Etalus like? I don't actually know. I feel like I just don't want to go Jules build. Ooh, Forest. Is that where I lost game one? I like Forest though too. Like Etalus might like force, but I like force. Oh my god, that's really extended so far. Etalus is super wide. Ow. Yeah, it worked. I don't know why I'm struggling so much hitting icicles with up air today. I feel like that's normally my go-to to counter icicles as people don't double jump. But today, been very bad. Just your forward tilt. Gotta hold up there if you're the opponent. Oh my gosh, I did not do that. Ow. Alright, we got this. Super 6 seed. Oh my gosh, my jab is so bad. Game 3. GG's, GG's.
This battle is over.
I'm sorry I played so poorly game 3. Will Rana receive new voice lines this year? That's the plan. Yes. That is the plan. Any tips for a struggling gold Absa player? I mean, definitely watch top Absas. You don't have to right now. Absa is interesting because you, especially gold, you can kind of like use whatever part of the kit you want, but top players get a lot of usage out of like certain moves way more than others. So definitely watch Ant. There's some good ones. I don't know if they stream. There's some good ones in ranked in like plat, diamond tier. Who use very small percent of the moves that like to just sit at ledge and throw cloud. So I would see if you can find not just Ant. I would try to find like other Absa gameplay on YouTube. That'd be my recommendation if you're trying to learn Absa. You guys happy with 4 hugging as is, or still trying to tweak it? I mean, it's in a pretty good spot right now. I feel like the funny thing is with floor hugging, a lot of the complaints I can still tell, like especially on Nolt, there's people who are still on an anti-floor hugging campaign, and I can tell that they don't use it either on either side of it. I can, because just the way that they frame it, right, in their minds, they're always like, the problem with floor hugging is that it's a combo breaker, right? It's like an X Factor in Marvel versus Capcom. It's like you get hit by any hit, and you get the combo because you can reversal out of it. Which, as someone who's played and gotten floor hugged against, right, that could be your outlook. But like in reality, I mean, if you try to use it as offensively, you know that it's not straight up that, because if you've tried to floor hug against someone better than you a lot, you've probably gotten blown up. And that's because it creates a lot of interactions after the hit, more than just, you know, if it's something really laggy, sure, yeah, you're gonna, you know, get your option. But there's a lot of there's lots of ways that it trees out, right? Even a jab one, and a lot of times you floor hug that, your punish depends on what the other person's going to do next, right? If they go for jab two, then you could get hit during your startup of your option. If you shield, then they could, you know, now you have to have a good out of shield option, and they can stop. They could go jab one, grab, and now they've countered shield. So there's lots of ways to play out of it. And then the funny thing is, a lot of times the best option to do, and we probably tried to put this in the tutorial, is if you floor hug something, you want to go for a grab as the person who floor hugged it, but you don't always have time for that, right? Depending on what they did. So a lot of times as someone like Maple, if I get like something floor hugged at a decent distance, you know, I'm just either jabbing or forward tilting again, and I can sometimes, you know, get out of the dash grab punish in a lot of cases, whether the person's not perfect or whatever. So yeah, there's just like a lot of interactions. It's funny because like in some ways floor hugging is like taking DI a step further, right? Because in fighting games, if you play a lot of traditional fighters, and I remember being online during this era, there was like around 2008, 2010-ish, 2012, when Melee was starting to come back into prominence. And it first got to Evo, I think like 2013. There is this like traditional fighting game players don't necessarily like DI, right? Because they're so used to when you get a combo, it's your combo. And as long as you practiced it and you know it, you get to do your combo, right? That's very like Marvel and other games with like kind of long lasting combos. Like if your tech is perfect, your opponent doesn't get a say. Whereas Smash is a sandbox fighter, right? Where a lot of combos are custom and unique because there's never going to be that exact positioning with that exact Smash DI and that exact percent and that exact DI. And then floor hugging is like an extension of that, right? Because in reality, all it's doing is very similar to wave dashing. It's combining landing mechanics with ASDI down, right? In a way that creates new situations, right? Because if you don't go into tumble, and when you land, you get a capped amount of frames, right? The floor, you know, in Melee or PM or Rivals 2 now, like the frames that a floor hug is like a set number, because after you land out of tumble in a weak hitstun state, you know, that's how many frames. And because ASDI down is strong enough that if the attack's weak enough, you basically put yourself grounded right away. That's how floor hugging works. So those mechanics combining is like exaggerating DI. So now not only do you have the option to get out, you have the option to like, you know, significantly reduced hit stun, you know, as a as a choice that you can opt in. And it's funny because the fighting game players don't like DI, and they don't like, some I'm sure some adjusted and they like it now or whatever. They understand it has a place in Smash. Then there's a lot of platform players who are fine at that point, but then once you go to floor hugging or ASDI down, then they can't get past that step, right? Because they're like, no, well, yeah, sure, you can DI, but that only keeps me in advantage, right? The only thing is you're getting out, which, yeah, that's a fair argument. But it is still like not only, kind of an extension of that, it also creates a lot more unique situations on the ground that you couldn't get, right? Without it. I see a lot of people say like, hey, it has to be in the game because of jab cancels. And I would say like, that's not 100%, necessarily the case. Because like, there's lots of ways you can balance jab, I think like the big thing is like, do you want, like, how interactive do you want the ground game to be, right? Because, drift DI and other mechanics don't do a lot at low percents, right? You're not going very far, so the amount of centimeters you can move is minimal, right? If you're not being lifted off the ground very much. So it's like, do you want characters to have like, bread and butters that 30-40% off of a very safe option, right? And then it comes down to, okay, maybe you do want that, right? You do want, I want these low percent combos to work. And then it's like, okay, well now we gotta nerf the openers, because it's like, if you're always getting 30% off a jab, now there has to be more risk to jab than there is currently, right? So like, that's like the crux of it, right? Of like, do you want guaranteed low percent combos, or do you want more interaction between the two players? Now for me personally, like, I still think like percent is a little, like, how long and which moves and etc. is still a little like not my ideal, but I think we've like improved it over time. The reason that is because like, compared to melee or even PM, like Rivals has a lot of moves that are either no scaling or low scaling, right? So it's like, you're just gonna floor hug it forever, right? Jab ones all have no scaling. So there's people, I see people all the time complain on Twitter where they're like, look at the percent, this Loxodon is at 150, and he floor hugged my jab. And it's like, well, jab doesn't have any scaling, so at 0 and at 150 you're gonna it's gonna be the same thing, right? No damage would change that. So yeah, like but then other moves have scaling. It's just like, for them to combo, it needs to be low, and then if it's low, then you can floor it. I think in certain moves it's good, like a move as fast as like Olympia's down tilt. Like, I honestly think you should be able to floor hug that all the time, because that's the counterplay, right? If you're ready for it, it's not popping up. Because look at what Olympia gets. Go watch Genesis finals. When you get the down tilt and they pop up, that's basically the stock, and it's on like a 4-frame startup or something ridiculous. So I think in some cases it's balanced quite well, and in other moves I'd like to see it not last quite as long, but I also would like the move to still be usable in combos and stuff. I think like overall it's in a pretty good spot. I know we see a lot of complaints still. There's like a lot of vitriol, but I think like, just like Claren right now is in the sites, people are complaining about her. There's always gonna be something that's gonna make it hard to be a top level player. And I think floor hugging and CC, both of them are just like one of the kind of one of the most lightning rod mechanics, just because, yeah, until you actually integrate it in your play, it seems one of those things where on paper, in theory, it's completely bonkers, because you've played online and you hit an aerial and instead of starting a combo, they reversaled you. But once you like use it and kind of learn spacing and stuff, you're like, it's not a get out of jail free card. It turns out it's got a lot of nuance. And it's also not just interactive for both players. It's also like kind of just makes you think, right? Because a lot of moves do open up at higher percent. So it's like, you know, now you got to think about what you're doing at low percent a little more. Are you going to go for something a little more obvious that gets around floor hugging, like a down air or a spike, or are you gonna, or a grab, or are you gonna risk it, try to space it, and try to get some, you know, additional damage after the interaction? That's the question. Do I play ranked with any character besides Maple? No. You can see that by my levels. And it's funny because a lot of times, the times I play characters before they release, so then I don't have the levels period on a lot of characters. Someone saying, dude, you just don't know how to use it. If you did, you would like it. I'm not saying you would like it. I'm saying a lot of the complaints, I can tell that they don't use it, right? Because they're operating under a very black and white frame of reference, where if you know, once you've tried to use it on your gameplay, you realize, you know, even just do the tutorial, right? Even just doing the advanced tutorials, I think helps kind of see that it's not, you know, not only are the punishes out of floor hug not guaranteed, right? What the player who floor hug did, but then your moves and your spacing, even using the same move in different ways, changes, you know, if you can get punished or not, and what you can get punished by. I got maybe one more set in me. I do think one thing I've said before too, I'll say about floor hugging is if the mechanic didn't exist, there would be a lot, just like Claren right now has the Eye of Sauron, right? Whereas Zedder and Rana did last year. There would be another mechanic that's different from either Ultimate or Rivals 1. Maybe I would assume it would be Ledge if I had to guess. I think Ledge Invincibility would be the one we'd see a lot of complaints about. Maybe Shield. Shield's pretty strong and not in Rivals 1. It'd be interesting. I do feel like it protects a lot of other mechanics from Why'd Cherry do nothing? Does he not wanna be my friend? The crazy parry. Ow. Didn't jump to him. that ledge dash. So we got dash attack spacing. Come on, feel it. I'm bad. That's what she grabbed. Somehow hit P. Ow. Isn't that funny? Oh, I'm dead. No, I'm not. Miss him. I took the first stock back this game. Isn't that funny? Probably shouldn't just want to get lava for free, but whatever. Sometimes you just do that. I almost killed.
Hold the ledge.
Oh, so bad. I'm judging today. Ow. I'm bad. He thought. Ow. Harry. Can you imagine that? I'm gonna go for double fair if that fair worked. That I've been there. That's just when this a little bit of stubbornness. You're like, I can down there this character. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes my up special is more disjointed than anything Loxodon has. Coming down. You know? And you gotta just respect that I'm going to up special. I struggle so much as Maple into Lox. Any pro tips? I don't know, honestly. I like the Loxodon matchup. I think you just gotta be, you gotta not respect Loxo. You gotta, I guess, respect the standing still up tilt. Know that they like to do that. And then don't respect anything else.
Get on him.
That combo is disgusting because just one jab there, they're gonna start holding out for because they realize they messed up the jab reset, right? So a lot of people are gonna hold out for the next one. So if you do one jab into down strong on a stage like this or rock wall, holy moly, you can get some early KOs. Can you imagine? Ow, I'm bad. Bad. Oh, I get that in. We got this stuff. Gotta hold up. So as you're playing against Maple, just if they tether, just hold up. Even if you think they're gonna nair, just die to the nair. Accept that, because it's way worse than dying earlier than you need to up there. Yeah, I don't know actually. Well, I don't know how to be good against Locko, but I think you gotta. Oh, they left. Look, they left. They're mad. Oh, that's one. All right, I do have one tip against Locko. That helps a lot, which is even as Maple, especially. I'll show it to you. And this works against Fleet. This works against a lot of characters. So we'll go into Edgeguard training real fast. But Fleet, Locko, even I'm trying to think of other characters that do it. Maybe Wrastor 4s. All right. So any character where they really don't want to land on ledge, right? Because it's like laggy and punishable. The big thing is, as Maple, just sit center stage. Sometimes what I like to do is like plant a Lily right here instead of going for like a deep edge guard. Sometimes against Locko, right? You're like trying to get out here, because with Locko, one way to gimp him is in this diagonal right around this area, because you know he has to get to a wall, or he has to up B straight up, right? So if you're like, oh, if I can get out here, you know, you could literally just fair his side B. That's like one way to edge guard him. But a lot of times, instead of going off stage against Locko and Fleet, just act like you're gonna ledge trap and then just do this. So all it is just run, get into run. So make sure you're far enough away from ledge. Don't be this close where you're gonna do a dash, because then you gotta wave dash. Well, there I ran done. Make sure you're far enough away so you get into run. Just run, turn, and then hit shield. That's all you gotta do. And then because they think you're ledge trapping, they might go for like, oh, I just want to grab ledge and go safe. A lot of Lockos, a lot of Fleets will just up B right to ledge. And if you do that in ranked, you will steal a couple stocks early over time. And those add up, because if you're playing someone evenly, just one edge, just one edge guard, one edge hog rather, is like insane value. So just learn this. Once you get this one down, this is just run, turn, shield. Really good as Maple because she's so fast. Other characters, you know, you gotta be a little more precise. Once you get that one down, then it's just get the wave dash down. So this is just like wave dash. You can do that at any distance then, right? You don't have to worry about where you are. Obviously, you gotta be facing backwards. So just practice that. I did see a video someone posted that I haven't implemented myself yet, which is that where if you shield the first hit, rather than going for like a parry like a lot of people like to do, you can actually just go for an out of shield aerial. Let me see if I can get him to do it. Here we go. This should be the spacing. I mean, that spacing was rough because he was low. But yeah, you could go for like back air. I think nair on Maple. Maybe I think back air is faster than nair. I forget on Maple. And then yeah, just go for the steals. Fleet's the funniest because there's so many times where they don't have to go to ledge and they do. you kill them, and they probably feel they're probably so salty. Like if I'm just here, it does not look like I'm challenging ledge at all. So then they go for like a high up B downward, and they just die. Same thing with Forsburn, right? Forsburn really doesn't want to land his up B on stage if he doesn't have to. So a lot of times he'll go for like a high, you know, they'll up B around here and they'll go right to ledge, and then they just die. With Fleet too, I did not reset good there. Her up B landing is so long. It's like even longer than Clarence, I think. So then you just, even if they go above you, you get a punish. I usually go for Nair because I'm bad, and I'll miss the ledge dash down strong. But what you can do is Nair like through. Okay. That's my advice. Otherwise, against Loxo, I don't know. Hit buttons. All right. I got 7 minutes. We'll do a couple more questions, and then that's the stream. GG's everyone who played. I think I will say too, I think Maple is really good versus Lock though. Probably one of his hardest matchups. I think Maple's good against a lot of characters though. I'm just not that good. But I think Maple. I think she beats Lorena, Galvin, Crag, Etalus, Absa, Wrastor, Fleet, Forsburn. Probably. But you're not gonna be cake. You're not beating Cake. But any other Forsburn, yes. And then Olympia. I don't know. It depends on which Olympia, right? She's gotten a lot of balance changes. I would say for a while it was even. Maybe now it's Maple favored. Claren even. Zedder even. Rano. Even. Orcane. Maple wins. Yeah. About it. So I don't know if she I mean, you could say she loses. She's very hard to play. She's hard to pilot. She's kind of like Wrastor. I think like because she's so explosive, it's hard to win tournaments. So even though I think she's got all good matchups or even are winning, she's still probably not the best character in the game because she's very hard to be consistent with. And you saw against, who did I play? Lobo? Just one or two bad DI, you're dead at, what was I at? 100? 98 before hit? Don't DI bad. Will Absa get a yellow and black mecha skin? I don't know. Find Jamie on Twitter. Just add him. Pallets, we have a list of ones that are like planned, but then we usually like squeeze one or two more in per patch at the last second. The thing with pallets is it's like they don't individually take a lot of time, but it's more like when we do them matters because they I didn't realize how similar this Maple to look the default fleet. When we do them matters because it's like it is kind of annoying to do them while you're in the middle of other skin work, especially if you're jumping around branches in source control, and you got to do these on the next live build. But you know, if we had doing one pallet that we assigned ourselves versus doing 5, that's a difference between, you know, it's basically like 45 minutes to do one pallet because to get everything set up and get in the right branch and get your Unreal loaded, and it's probably 50 minutes to do 2 pallets, right? So 45 minutes for 1, 50 minutes for 2, 55 minutes for 3. So as long as we know what we want to do going in, and Jamie has an idea, they're quick, but it's just finding time to do them in the first place is the the challenge right now. Dan, can you tell Jamie to add matching palettes for Lovers, Clarion, and Fleet next month? Okay. Pass it to Jamie. Let me just screenshot this. By matching, you just mean they match each other. But they can be whatever color he wants. Right? I assume? I'm gonna assume that's yes. All right, 3 minutes. Any other questions? I see people in chat are still talking about floor hugging. Yeah, I think there's two things that make it different from melee. One, yeah, obviously, like I mentioned, percent or scaling. KB scaling is different, right? So there's more moves with basically 0 or low scaling in Rivals 1 and 2. The other thing is that Rivals in general is like more, I don't know, like high level mechanics are more accessible, right? So like we made wave dashing easier and we gave it its own animation. It has its own state. You know, we've simplified. So it's like if you've come from other platform fighters, Rivals 1 and Rivals 2 are kind of meant to be a game where you can implement high level platform fighter stuff that you've heard about or seen, but like didn't necessarily use right in your own gameplay. And that goes back to like why I started Rivals was like Melee came back. I was like, man, I love watching this, but it's very hard to get into now because I'm used to a buffer, right? I'm used to modern advancements past 2001. So let's make a game where you can have, you know, the speed and the aggression and kind of the flashiness and all of that without kind of that initial feel of clunkiness that you feel when you're trying to learn melee. That was like a Rivals 1 goal. They continued in Rivals 2. But what that means is now players are getting exposed to these mechanics and everything feels like a little more deliberate. So I think like one of the reasons that floor hugging and crouch canceling see so much strife in Rivals 2 versus PM and Melee is like in those games there is a lot of just kind of like arcane interactions that you just kind of, you know, you're like, well, it's melee. Melee is melee. It's the whole package, right? Whereas in Rivals, you know, it feels like, especially because the games have evolved with the player base, right? It's like, well, no, like every specific thing needs a use, right? In Rivals, like one of the differences, like every attack, you know, has at least some use in Rivals, ideally, both games. Whereas in Melee and Brawl and PM in those games, there's some attacks that you probably just shouldn't do ever. So in that regard, you know, floor hugging and crouch canceling is more people are running into it, right? Even if the percents worked exactly the same as Melee, there'd be more people experiencing it in Rivals because they've gotten to the skill level where they're implementing it more. So like, yeah, I think we basically have leveled a lot of people up to get to that point where they maybe never got to that point in Melee. Because I think if you do spend time in Melee circles, right, even just on the Smash subreddits, there's a lot of people who don't like CC and floor hugging in Melee as well, right? It's kind of a hard mechanic to learn once you know, and any platformer that fighter that has it, you got to be like, oh wait, it isn't just necessarily like any hit from neutral, right? It's like you got to, one, think about what you're hitting, and then two, think about the interaction after, right? I remember when I was like learning to get better at Rivals 2, a metaphor I like to use was in hockey, when you pass the puck. One of the bad things you can do is you just watch. You watch your pass, right? You make a good pass, and then you just kind of shut your brain off, and you say, "Oh, I hope we do good. I hope this person does a good play and scores or passes it back to me." But you're probably not going to get a pass back because you're not going to be in a good position because you're just watching it. And platform fighters are like that as well, right? When you land a hit, you need to be thinking about the next thing, right? You're not watching your hit. You need to be, you've already anticipated situations that could play out, and you're thinking about it. So when I was first learning Maple, that's what I needed to do was like, you know, if I have mark, the first hit is I should be buffering tether immediately, right? If you don't, then you've missed your opportunity and you're not getting a follow-up. So I have gotten better at that. And then a continuation of that is DI and floor hugging, right? Where you're like, okay, in this situation, first DI, you gotta learn that. So it's like, in this situation, I'm gonna hit them with a nair. If they DI out, I need to keep my aerial drift, double jump, go for another nair. If they DI in, what are my options? What should I go for? Sometimes you just do a hard call out and you just do it. Go say, hey, I think they're going to DI in. I'm going to double jump fair right here and try to just end the stock. And that's like not watching your pass, right? That's like, I'm going to commit to this. And then floor hugging is the same thing, right? Where you're like, you know, even if they floor hug, if you're watching your pass, then you're going to probably get punished, right? But if you're thinking that this could happen, then one, you've probably already spaced it in a good way. And two, maybe you put your shield up, maybe you're spot dodging, maybe you're jabbing. And that's kind of like the next stage to getting better is like, you just got to use your brain more, unfortunately. But even if floor hugging didn't exist, you have to do that, right? Even in Rivals 1, you know, you got to be, every player that's good is doing a combination of anticipating and reacting. And if you're just reacting but not doing anything, you're probably dropping a lot of combos and a lot of situations. So if you're learning the game, yeah, get used to not watching your pass and having a follow-up in mind. Even if you're only committing to one option. If you watch me play, one thing you'll see me do is like just kind of dash down strong and they tech the other way. So nothing, it just looks like I just maybe misinputted a down strong or I'm bad. Which is fine because the times when, you know, because I was choosing not to react there. I was choosing to just go for something. But the times where I do guess right, then I could close the stock out. And then sometimes I do go for more reaction, right? I feel like online it's a little harder because you got the 2-frame delay. But sometimes you do just react to what they're doing as opposed to buffering something immediately after your first hit. I think that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll hopefully have a dev stream next week. I don't know what the topic will be yet. For people who are excited about new features coming, that will be as we get closer to April, we'll reveal more. So stay tuned. If you see me unranked, just know that my emotes aren't salty. They're out of love. I'm just lovingly trolling you, maybe, or giving you a compliment. Sometimes people say good game at the beginning, and I know that they mean the Rivals 2 is a good game. And then I say thank you. And then they beat me, and then I say skill not found. And then I leave. And that's how it starts. It starts very friendly, and then it goes to just pure salt. So if you find me at 2 a.m., the salt was out of love.